segment, but I wanted to thank everyone for liking this photo, which is me as Miss Mac in a promo photo that was taken by my Mena classmate and good friend Wayne Madison when he had his photography studio in Mena. And we did a lot of those. We did a lot of photos with Wayne. He came down and took pictures of us when we did a show at Shooters, which is now Whiskey River in Texarkana, and those were some really good shots too. I may throw those on here also. But that was my costume that I wore. I guess we started taking those photos in 06, 05, 06, somewhere around in there. And I wore that for quite a while. And that was, again, that was 2006. We played 92 shows that year, which would have been 2 a week. And that was a pretty good haul for a regional local band. We played up at, I think we might have gone to Fort Smith at that time. We were in Hot Springs a lot. We were in Temple and Killeen a lot. We did Fat Jack's. We did Courtyard, what is now La Fagatas. We did a lot of shows that year, and that was my costume. And that's called a cavalry coat, which is what it was listed as. I ordered it from a mail order catalog called Newport News, which was a subsidiary of Spiegel, which neither of those exist anymore. And I ordered it, and it's a size 8, so I can't. It's a little snug when I put it on these days. And I do still have it. It's in storage. I had put a lot of Miss Mac's wardrobe in a closet in my music room in our garage apartment, and now it's in a tub in storage. But that was my coat. And I'm gonna some other pictures of me in it. There's gonna be me, I think that's it. That one's at La Fagatas, or the Courtyard. That was there. There's one at Quincy's that I played, wearing the coat. I think that might have been a Valentine's gig, whatever year that was. And then there's a couple of others. These were sent to me by my friend Noelle. I think she took these at, well, I know where she took them. They were from the Peabody, that is now the Courtyard Marriott in Little Rock. That used to be the Excelsior, but for a while it was the Peabody. And they did a rooftop concert series that summer, and we knew the owner operator, or the general manager of the Peabody at the time, because he was in another band, and we'd met him, and so we played that gig. And so that was that was what I wore. That was my costume. There's me wearing it with a corset, with tank tops, with t-shirts, with jeans. So yeah. Now, as I've said before, as far as how this relates to the book you're about to read, hopefully, or that's about to be finished in the next week. This was what I was wearing the year I finished the first volume, books 1 and 2. And I've said before, my mind was full of ideas that summer. And so this coat worked its way into the story as the costume for the lead character, that's in this particular part of the story during this particular timeline. Works a little bit like this. As the ideas were swimming through my head, this the main character's father is in the Air Force, and he's stationed at Sierra Vista, Fort Huachuca, around the Tombstone area where this character grew up. And he does horse soldier reenactments. I knew I wouldn't be able to say that right. And so he has the costumes. Well, main character ends up with one of the coats that he wears, which is like the cavalry coats and the hat that they wore in the post-Civil War, Old West era. And so he's convinced to wear that as his costume on the next tour coming up. So that was the relationship between that and the story. And there's a little bit of contention about, he doesn't want to wear the coat because it's too hot, and he kind of complains about it. But that's the thing. So while that's in my head too, I also came up with an idea that this band has a song that's called Heroes of Conquest. And my idea behind the song was each of them plays a role of a hero in history. Like there's a Scottish lord, there's Robin Hood, there's what becomes a German World War I flying ace, even though the real story was that it's a Nazi soldier that turns against the Third Reich, and they kind of did work it into the song a little bit differently. And then there's a ninja, played by the least ninja member of the band. And of course the guy in the cavalry coat, the cavalryman. And that was my idea for the song. And I had this written down a long time ago, and I wasn't sure how they got the idea in the story. And that, as I was writing this down, which is something I've been trying to write down for a long, long time, how does the band get the idea for the song? Not just me getting the idea for the song. And about that same time period, this book takes place from 86 through 87. It's going to go longer, but I thought I needed a stopping point, so 88 is going to be later. The same time, I think 85, is when The Highwaymen came out, which was, Chris Christopherson, Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson, Waylon Jennings. And the big song about the Highwaymen was the same kind of idea. It had the highwayman, the sailor, the dam builder, and the astronaut. And so that's how the band in the story gets the idea for the song. And so that was the idea swimming around in my head for the longest time. Now, I never knew at what point, I never knew what song I wanted that to sound like. There were a lot of other songs that, I had the titles for, but I didn't know what song I wanted that one to be like, what real song I wanted it to sound like. Well, about the time, I want to say this came about as I was going to Forest City and starting my job there. This song came across, I think it was on my Discover Weekly on Spotify, because I don't remember it before then. But it was a song called Skies of Mongolia by a band called Treat. And they're from Sweden. And they were actually around back in the day in the 80s. They just weren't big in the States. They weren't big over here. I'd never heard of them. And they had, the song is great. It's really, really great. It's big epic, and it's very cinematic, and it's a great, great song. So if you listen to it, that's what check it out. And that was my blueprint. And when I was sitting down last year and writing out lyrics for this fictitious song, I, of course, was studying the actual song, and I discovered that it was co-written by Rudolf Schenker of the Scorpions, which made it even better because I love Scorpions, and Rudolf Schenker is the inspiration for one of my characters, the rhythm guitarist, as far as what he looks like. And I think I've kind of got the personality down. I don't really know. But I put that together as the blueprint for the song that I made for the book. And it's turned out really, really, really great. And so this year, when I put the song into Suno, it was probably maybe like the third or fourth song I ever did in Suno, because I was still trying to learn how it worked. And the first couple of versions, they were too slow, or then it would speed up, and I was still trying to learn how the prompt worked. And then I finally got it, and it was like, oh, wow, it was really, really great. And it's not described like I describe it in the book, because I forgot that I had done it a certain way, and to go back and read it and go, oh yeah, I forgot to do all that. But anyway, the song turned out so good I didn't care. And I was so impressed with it, and was listening to it, and then all of a sudden I caught something that sounded really weird. I left a word out of the first verse and went, oh, I can't leave that. It sounded really weird. And it didn't make a lot of sense with, right there in the first verse. So I got to fix that. And I was still learning how to do that because I wasn't sure, it's AI stuff. So it might regenerate an entirely different song. And I didn't want it to do that. And I went into the editor in, thank you, Kat. I went into the editor to try to fix it because I was looking up ways to do it. And I could not get it to work the way I wanted it to. I haven't figured out quite how to do it that way yet. So what I did was, if you use the cover function, you can remake the whole song, and it's not working like it's supposed to right now, but it last a few months ago it worked really well, and it kept the melody, it kept the form like it was supposed to, and it didn't really change it very much. And so I did the cover, reprinted the lyrics, and also added the extra chorus at the end that I forgot to copy. And it came back, and it actually kind of extended the solo a little bit, and it's great. It's really, really great. It's one of the better songs that I created, and it actually got some likes from some other people on Suno that listen to it. As long as it's published and it's public, other people will like your stuff. And I've got some people that actually follow me and have enjoyed some of the songs. So the song is coming up as soon as I can get a little video put together of it. I did make a video with Sondo, and I just kind of let it do what it does. I didn't really put a whole lot of prompts in it. I just wanted to see what it would do. And I put the reference photo of the lead singer on there. And I'm not a real fan of Sondo AI video because it looks weird. It doesn't do very well. I don't really like it. I kept the video, but it just, it's kind of weird. And it's not terrible, but it's not great either. But I'm not subjecting you to that one because it's weird. It ended up being a really, really cool song. Now the excerpt from this part is, it's one of my favorite scenes in the whole book. I wrote some of it quite a while ago, like 4 or 5 years ago. And then I rounded it all out and finished the scene. And it's what the band does in the book is they decide they've got a big enough budget that they're going to do this big Hollywood type video for it. And they're in each of their characters' costumes, and they've got sets. It's a real Hollywood film crew, and it's a big budget production. But it kind of ends up being a Spinal Tap moment for the lead character. And this actually has some consequences and some action that happens after that. And so it's a great scene, and I crack up every time I read it. I would actually read it to you, but I laugh so that I can't get through it without just cracking up. Because it ends up not being funny, but it is funny because he's kind of serious and the other guys kind of make fun of him, and it's just a great scene. Maybe my enthusiasm will encourage you to read it. But in my roundabout way, that's how my cavalry coat and my costume as Miss Mac influenced the new book that I'm finishing up and will have ready by hopefully the middle of August before school kicks off again, and it's coming together really good, and I'm really proud of it. So there's that, and enjoy the rest of your evening, and the video and the excerpt are coming up soon, so see ya.